The Gemara tells us in Brachas, Daf Chaf Amud Beis, that Nashim Chayavos B'Kiddush Hayom Dvar Torah. The women are obligated in the biblical mitzvah of Kiddush. We all know the Torah tells us the Aseret Hadibra Zochar Es Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsho. Remember the Shabbos day and sanctify it. And from there we learn out the mitzvah of Kiddush. So the Gemara says women are obligated in the mitzvah of Kiddush. We'll see perhaps how much of Kiddush is Daraisa, how much is D'Rabbanan, but at the moment we just know women are chayev in the mitzvah of Kiddush. And the Gemara is bothered by, what do you mean? Women are chayev in the mitzvah of Kiddush. Isn't it a mitzvah saseh shazman grama? Isn't it a classical time-oriented mitzvah? The only time you can make Kiddush is on Shabbos. So, how could, and we know the Mishnah tells us in Kiddush and Daf Chaf Tes, that women are patur from Zman grama, so how in the world could women be chayev in the mitzvah of Kiddush? So the Gemara answers, based on the following principle: Kol sheyeshnu b'shmira, yeshnu b'zechira. In other words, it says Zachar Sham HaShabbos HaKadsho in Parshas Yisro. It says Shomer Sham HaShabbos HaKadsho B'Eschanan. So we have a principle: whoever is obligated in the negative commandment, whoever isn't allowed to violate Shabbos, i.e. everybody, so whoever is obligated in the negative commandment of not violating Shabbos are also commanded in the positive mitzvah of Zachar, i.e. making Kiddush. So the Gemara says, since women are chayev to keep Shabbos, they're also obligated in the mitzvah of Kiddush, and perhaps other mitzvahs hayom as well. Similar to the Gemara's drasha, we have a similar shaila about whether women are chayev in eating matzah leil Pesach. So the Gemara says Nashim chayavas b'matzah. The Gemara says women are obligated in the obligation to eat matzah on leil Pesach. Isn't it a mitzvah saseh shazman grama? You only have a mitzvah to eat matzah on leil Pesach, the first night. So why are women obligated? So the Gemara says, from a similar drasha, that the Gemara says, Kol sheyeshnu b'bal tochel chametz, yeshnu b'kum ochel matzah. Whoever is obligated to refrain from eating chametz is also obligated in the mitzvah of eating matzah. So therefore, since women can't eat chametz on Pesach, they're also chayev on matzah. So similar drasha. That would only obligate them on the rabbinic level. So you need the Nashim HaChayev Matzah based on the juxtaposition of the psukim. Kol sheyeshnu b'bal tochel chametz yeshnu b'kum ochel matzah. So to here, Kol sheyeshnu b'shmira yeshnu b'zechira. So it's clear that women are obligated in the mitzvah of matzah, but we're talking about the mitzvah of Kiddush. It's clear that women are obligated in the mitzvah daraisa of Kiddush. So this leads us to the famous question of the Dagol Meirababa, alias Nodab Yehud and others, is we have a major problem here. Because how much of Kiddush is biblical and how much of Kiddush is rabbinical? So clearly there are three possibilities. There's three parts to the Kiddush. There is the reciting of the Kiddush, that's the Kiddush b'dvarim. There's making it over a cup, holding the cup of wine, and three, drinking the wine. So we have all three shittas Some Rishonim say everything is chayev min haTorah. Zochar Yom Shabbos v'Kodsho. It's allusion to yain. All three is daraisa. Others say this the first two, but not the drinking. And we pass in like the Rambam that only Kiddush b'dvarim is biblical. Only Kiddush with words alone, that is a mitzvah min haTorah. So we assume the Kiddush b'dvarim is biblical, and the Kiddush al yayin is only d'Rabbanan. So the issue is as follows. Generally speaking, men go to shul Friday night, women don't. There are more women who go now than they did 20 years ago, but still, most women, I'd say, do not go to shul Friday night. Maybe different minhagim in different communities. And forget about going to shul. Many women also don't daven ma'ariv, which is the main issue here, not whether you go to shul or not. There are those who do, but many don't. So the question of the Duggal Merabava is, one more point we still need to know. So we have the Rambam that you fulfill your mitzvah min Torah of Kiddush with words alone. Comes along the Magen Avraham, based on the Rambam. If that's true, that Kiddush with words alone you fulfill your mitzvah min Torah. So when someone davens Friday night and you say Baruch Atah Hashem Mekadesh HaShabbos in the Shmona Esrei, one fulfills the biblical mitzvah of Kiddush. So that's the Kiddush. The Rambam that says Kiddush b'dvarim is good. The Magen Avraham took it a step further, that we can fulfill our mitzvah of Tefillah and Shmona Esrei. If this is true, if the Magen Avraham is correct, so the Duggal Merabava asked, then we have a problem here. Because we said we'll assume the man davened ma'ariv and the woman did not. So the man davened ma'ariv, he said, Baruch Atah Hashem Mekadesh HaShabbos, he fulfills his biblical mitzvah of Kiddush. So when he goes home, he only has to do the takana d'Rabbanan of Kiddush al yayin. However, his wife, who hasn't davened yet, she's still Nashim Chayav for Kiddush v'Torah. A woman is still Chayav in Kiddush min Torah. So we have a general rule: someone who's only a bar chiyuv d'Rabbanan, someone who's only obligated in a mitzvah d'Rabbanan, cannot do a mitzvah for someone who is Chayav on a derais on a higher level. If you're the same or higher, you could do it for someone lower. But if you're lower, you can't do it for someone higher. So how could the minig Yisrael doesn't make any sense? How could the husband make Kiddush for the wife? The man's only doing Kiddush Rabbanan, the wife's doing Kiddush min Torah. So how do we explain the minhag Yisrael, the man making Kiddush for his wife? So Duggal Merabava says, let's avoid the issue. He recommends, in Achanami it's a problem. Therefore, a woman should daven ma'ariv Friday night. If a woman davens ma'ariv Friday night, so therefore she's also only obligated to be d'Rabbanan in Kiddush. So therefore, the husband's chayiv in Kiddush d'Rabbanan, the wife is, and everyone is one happy shalom by his family. So that's what the Noda B'Yehuda, Duggal Merabava suggests. Others suggest a different approach. The Mishnah Berurah quotes from the Chasam Sofer that maybe you could deny the premise. I mean, what's this whole question based on? The Magen Avraham that you yotze your mitzvah of Kiddush in Tefillah Friday night. So it comes along the Chasam Sofer and says, we know there are many Gemaras and it's an apparent contradiction in the Rambam, whether mitzvahs srichas kavana. Do mitzvahs require intent? So it's a whole discussion. So Lamaisa, the Magen Avraham quotes that we make a compromise. On a mitzvah min Torah, we say yes. Failure to do the mitzvah with the requisite kavanah, you have to do the mitzvah over again. But on a rabbinical mitzvah, we are lenient. So the Chasam Sofer says that you need kavanah to fulfill your mitzvah. So therefore, he says, well, either you could say stam just don't have kavanah, to be neutral, but he writes to have negative kavanah. Specifically, have in mind that you want to be yotze your mitzvah of tefillah and not your mitzvah of kiddush, and therefore mitzvah strichas kavanah kiddush is a mitzvah in our Torah, and therefore you're not only yotze tefillah, not kiddush. So when you go home, you're chayav in kiddush for our Torah, and your wife is, and therefore we work with the general principle. It's not a problem. You're on the same level obligation. You can make kiddush for your wife. That is A2. That is the approach of the Chasam Sofer. The others want to suggest, we'll have to get to the Minchas Chinuch and the Pri Megadim another time. So perhaps I think the Aruch HaShulchan says is that that's throughout Shomei HaKaoneh, that you can't do if you're on the same level, unless you're on the same level or higher. But we have another principle of Yatsa Motze. Even though you already fulfilled the mitzvah, you could do it again. Based on the principle, Kol Yisrael Arevim Zeh Lezeh, all Jews are responsible for one another. And until every Jew has fulfilled his mitzvah of Kiddush, my mitzvah of Kiddush is lacking, and I could go ahead and make Kiddush. Just like if you have only one Baal Tekiah in Shul, so in the town, so he could go to the three different minyanim and even make a bracha again and blow a shofar. He fulfilled his mitzvah. Since you didn't, Kol Yisrael Reivim Zeh. So perhaps that's what we could say here also, that Kol Yisrael Reivim Zeh, the husband could wait for a wife. There's a rush, and it's about maybe there's no Arevis by Anisha, and however the Kiva Eger says it's only on mitzvahs that women aren't obligated in. But if a woman's obligated in the mitzvah Kiddush, so therefore it doesn't make sense that Arevis wouldn't apply. So therefore, to summarize, we have the Nod de Behuda, this says what the woman daven, and therefore you both only chayav midrabanan. You have the Chasam Sofer have negative kavanah, don't fulfill your mitzvah Kiddush, therefore you both chayav min Torah. And you have the Aruch HaShulchan that says, even though you fulfilled your mitzvah min Torah in Kiddush, even if you assume you did, based on the principle of Yatsa Motzi, you could go ahead and continue to make Kiddush for one's wife.